Okay, so this is the one thing I forgot to reveal. And so I yesterday in the part 2 of the testimony. So I said I'll just make it I'll make it a separate video, right? So I forgot to mention how God confirmed that the ministry that He has blessed me with will be Receive and Relate. Okay, so now I've had a website created for myself. I think the young lady finished it back in either 2020 or 2021, and I released it because it took a while because she had some personal issues or whatever. So, I was kind of left in the, you know, I guess in the dust, so to speak, for a minute. But it ended up finding out, she had some issues, personal issues or whatever, and so she was gone for a while. But anyway, nonetheless, she came through and finished it, and I released it, and it's called Tara Walker Worldwide, right? And so that's what the Holy Spirit told me to name it. So when He began to start speaking to me this year about ministry, okay, so I already started Receive and Relate podcast. I think it was I want to say it was January of 2021. That was the first thing I ever started a Receive and Relate. Now God dropped it in my spirit. He told me people will receive when they relate years ago. I'm talking about, I believe it was like 2011 or 2012. I was married to my ex-husband when that happened, because I remember telling him what God said, and then he went and took it and started using it as a slogan for his business ventures or whatever. But anyway, I didn't know what God was talking about back then, right? I just know what I heard in my ear. And so, but then here, fast forward years later, He brought it back to me in 2021. And then He broke it down what He meant. I said, oh, okay. So then He told me to start a podcast. So I did. And so it's been going strong. Of course, I was in school doing it and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to keep up with like an episode all the time. But it was more episodes came out during the pandemic because I was not out of work. I was working from home for 15 months during the pandemic. So I was able to keep up with them more. But then after that, after we went back and then school and everything, I wasn't able to keep up with them as much. But I was still doing them as the Lord led. Then I started a Facebook page of Receive and Relate. I started an Instagram page, Receive and Relate. I started a TikTok page, Receive and Relate. Last but not least, this year was when I started the YouTube page. The Holy Spirit said, okay, I need you to go ahead and make it a YouTube page. So since this year, since when I started, let me see. I want to say it was in the summertime. In the beginning of the summer is when I started the Receive and Relate page on YouTube. And so, or the Receive and Relate YouTube. And so as He began to keep telling me, okay, daughter, this is I want you to leave your job and everything and start ministry. And then when I started realizing, He said He wanted me to start ministry. And so I was asking God, I said, okay, God, well, what is the ministry? Is the ministry Tara Walker Worldwide? Because remember, that's the website that the young lady created for me a few years ago. Or is the ministry Receive and Relate? Which one is it? Which one is it? And let me tell you how dope God is, y'all. Every time I think about it, I just giggle because He's so funny. I love Him. And I love how creative He is, even when He answers your prayers, right? It's like sometimes God will answer your prayer in a way that literally only you would know it was Him. And it will be undeniable that it's Him. And He knows that you know that it's Him, right? So what happened was I was leaving work and for the day. And I know it's been a month so now. So maybe about a month and a half ago now. It was a Friday evening. It was either a Wednesday evening or a Friday evening. It was a Wednesday. Thank you, Holy Spirit. It was a Wednesday evening because when He confirmed it, it was on a Friday evening. And I was leaving work and I was talking. So on Wednesdays it was really quiet in my office and in the building because a lot of people work from home on Wednesdays. And so I usually would be in the office by myself, and it just some Wednesdays nobody even came in. Like, I loved Wednesdays because me and God would just have a great time. I'd be in there talking to Him for a couple hours, reading scriptures. It'd just be a bomb day. on Wednesday. So as I grabbed my bag, my husband had texted me he was downstairs, and I grabbed my bag to lock the door, leave out and lock the door. I asked God one more time. I said, okay, God, I hear you, but I need to know which one it is. Is it Tara Walker Worldwide, or is Receiving, are you making Receive and Relate the actual ministry that you gave me? And prayed about it, you know what I'm saying, walked out, left out, and then, you know, forgot about it or whatever. So and then this is another reason how you too will know when when it's something urgent God wants you to do, because He's going to answer quickly, right? And so I'm sitting here watching YouTube on a Friday night. My husband's at work, and this young lady I had never seen before popped up on my timeline. I can't even remember her name. If I remember, I'll try to go, because I'm subscribed to her now, but I can't remember her YouTube name. Because I just, you know, I had never seen her before, but subscribe to her now. If I remember after I finish this, I'll post it I'll tag her, because she also actually she's significant in my testimony, because she led me to another young lady on here who's been another confirmation, the messenger from the Lord. I love God. So anyway, this young lady, she just popped up, you know, and so I was like, I forgot the first one I saw. The first video I saw from her, it wasn't a confirmation video, but it was something else that was confirmation, but not for what I had been praying for. And that's what drew me to her. That's what it was. That's what drew me to her. I was like, oh, yes, wow. And then so what I tend to do is before I click subscribe, I tend to go on their page and look through the other videos and everything, you know, and ask the Lord, you know, is this somebody that you want me to be connected to or subscribe to? That's how I typically do it. And so that's what I did. And so a couple more of her videos, I was like, oh yeah. So then there was one video that I actually skipped over. I wasn't going to click on, right? Because it just didn't pop out, and stand out to me. So on her thumbnail, right? It's so funny. I love God. On her thumbnail, there was all these R's, the letter R, all over the thumbnail or whatever. And I forgot what the title of it was, but it just didn't stand out to me at first. And so I skipped over it actually and looked at a couple more. And then I know it was Holy Spirit, because I went back. And when I was getting ready to leave her page, I looked at the R's again. I was like, well, let me see what it's about. You know, I'm curious. Now I'm curious because I had seen all the art, so I clicked on, because that was a thumbnail. So I clicked on it, and she began to speak, and I'm like, I'm on my phone playing games, and so I'm listening, but I'm not like drawn like completely into what she was saying, until towards the end. So she said something towards the end that made me look up from my phone and look at the TV at her, and then back down in my phone. And then I looked out because I was in my bedroom. My bedroom, so I have a bedroom window right next to where we both have windows right next to us, but I had looked out the window outside of where I lay my head, and that's where I talked to God at, right? And I looked out the window like, hold up, wait, what she say? So then the Holy Spirit said, rewind it, daughter, and watch it again. And this time, pay attention to it. If y'all hear my husband singing, that is my husband singing upstairs. He does that daily. So I clicked back on it. I rewound it, and I started it over. And so I listened intently. And this time, when I was listening, I caught what she was saying. She said, I don't know who this is for. She said, it's not for me, but I'm just being obedient because it's weird. But, basically like that's how God is. Sometimes, you do things, he has you do things and don't make sense to you. But I'm putting this out here because I keep seeing the letter R. She said, everywhere I go, she said, I've been seeing on license plates, So she said, her daughter came to her and gave her a picture. And when she gave her the picture, she looked at the picture, and the picture had a bunch of capital R's just all over. That's why her thumbnail was like that, all over the paper, just R's all over the paper. And so she said she asked her daughter, I don't know her name, but she was like, what do you, why the letter R? And she said her daughter said, And then she skipped off with a little happy-go-lucky self. You know how kids do, whatever. She said, and then she left. And so her mom was just like, and so she said, there was another time, I don't know if it was the next day or shortly after that, but she seen a license plate. And this is what made me, at the end, remember I said the first time I looked out the window, I was like, hold up. This is what made me do that, because I heard this part. She said she saw a license plate and the initials were ARR. She said ARR. Of course, to her, it was the R's that stood out. She's never seen no license plate with that before. She said, I have no idea what that means. But she kept seeing R. I think she said she saw R somewhere else too, but I can't remember. But that's what really stood out to me, the ARR, right? So I said, Lord, really? Like, really? This how you confirm it? And I just chuckled, y'all. Okay, because the ministry is called Receive and Relate. So let me tell you what God will do. First of all, you ask him, he's going to answer you. And when you ask him, be prepared for it not to come. Sorry, I got a text message. For it not to come in a sometimes it may not come in a normal way, or conventional way. It may come in an unconventional way. The Holy Spirit knew that I was in a season of him sending me messengers and prophets on YouTube specifically. Like, I still watch TikTok sometimes, but a lot of times TikTok, we have a lot of junk on there. But YouTube specifically, and obviously now, because it's starting, my ministry is starting on the YouTube platform, but he's been sending me prophets, slash messengers. Like to call them messengers too, to confirm what he's saying to me through YouTube. And so he knew that night I would be on YouTube. He knew I was going to run across this lady, so he set it up. So she came across my news feed, and I had never seen her before, never heard her before. And that's the other stuff that I love. I love underdogs like myself. Don't get me wrong, no, I love the people that already have platforms right now. But I also love the underdogs that nobody heard of before, because it's not that nobody can speak to you from somebody that has a platform, because he speaks to anybody. But from when he speaks through somebody that don't know you from a can of paint, I've met people on YouTube before I ain't know from a can of paint that we've become great friends. We may not be so good as friends now, but for that season, we were really good friends, So, and other platforms too, and other social media platforms as well. So I love how God works like that, right? And he uses social media so that you can meet different people all over the country and all over the world. I love God. So that's how he was able to confirm it. So when I tell y'all, I laughed so hard at how he did it. I said, you are funny. I look back on the window, I said, you are funny, God. And I just tickled, because the lady I loved, and I had to message her and tell her thank you. This is why it's so important to be obedient, to do what God tells you to do, to say what he tells you to say, because most of the time, 90% of the time, it's not even for you. It's for somebody else, right? It could be for you too, but most times it's for somebody else. Now, this lady did not know, she had no idea why she kept saying the letter R. And guess what, y'all? It wasn't nobody else but her. I didn't see her mention that she kept saying the letter R, and then see another prophet that said they kept saying it, or no, it was her. So her message was solely for me. And because she said, I have no idea why I'm posting this, but it's for somebody. See, that's why it's important to do what God tells you to do and say what he tells you to say. Because wherever that lady lives, or wherever she's from, I don't even know. But her obedience was for me. So that was God answering my prayer as to what would be the name of the ministry that he wanted me to manage. Because remember, I said in my video, if you haven't seen it, God is my CEO. He is the CEO of Receive and Relate. I get all my directions, everything I am to say, and everything I am to do through him. I'm just the manager down here that runs it. That's it. Actually, he runs it, right? But I just, I work what he say do. I work what he say and do what he say do down here. So that's what I mean by I'm the manager. But he the CEO. He runs it. He owns it. Right? So so I didn't know what to name it. And because like I said, I had already had the website Tara Walker Worldwide. So that in that year when that had happened, I had figured it would be some with the ministry, wherever he did start me to do, would have something to do with that effect and that name. But no, but I'm not going to get rid of the website. No, the website will still be in use, Tara Walker Worldwide. But the ministry's name is Receive and Relate. So that is how God confirmed that Receive and Relate would be the ministry. I didn't come up with it by myself. I didn't just decide one day and say, oh, okay, let me turn my podcast into my ministry. No, because first of all, none of this is by me. That's my husband. None of this is by me. All of this is God created, God ordained, God instructed. Okay? So that is how Receive and Relate became confirmed for its title. And like I said, I will, if I can find a lady, I'll tag her below in this video. I mean, if I can remember to do that. And what was that? What was I talking about? Oh, okay. So like I said, Tara Walker Worldwide is still the website. I'm not sure yet if he wants me to create a whole nother website for Receive and Relate or connected to that one, but we'll see as time goes on. But yeah, so that is how Receive and Relate came about, got its title. If you have missed the testimony, go back to, I had part 1 and part 2 posted on here of how God called me off my 9 to 5 and told me to begin full-time ministry for Receive and Relate. Okay, so I love you all, and remember, always, 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 always get your instructions from God. Get your confirmations from God. He will confirm for you to listen to what God tells you to do. Not what man tells you to do. Not what man thinks you should do. Listen to what God tells you to do. I cannot stress that enough. Because if I kept listening to man, then I would be in disobedience. And I ain't in no disobedience with God for nobody. I don't care who you are. Okay? Because he the one that got a heaven and hell to put me in. All right. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a wonderful day. Talk to you next time. Bye.